step number 6. And here we go. Are we all there, men? And it reads, the step itself is work entirely. You can't come half ready. By the time you get to step number 6, you're bringing everything here. You're not leaving nothing behind. Everything is about to make a major change. Everything is about to be examined, inspected, and put in its rightful place. You have thoroughly made up your mind that things aren't going to be what they used to be, and you're about to do some serious organizing in a major type of way so you can really cash in on the benefits and the rewards that recovery has presented to you in terms of having worked steps 1 through 5. And so we're entirely, as the old school used to say, ain't no half-stepping. We're entirely ready to have what? God remove. In other words, God is going to do for us what we could not do for ourselves. Man, if you want somebody on your team that can make it happen, I always say this myself, and I knew it then, even when I was handling my business, that God has good game. And it may not be Christian correct, but I'm telling you, he can take a situation that looks like it's just a slam dunk. It looks like it's just no way out of it. And God can make a way out of no way. And he amazes me how he puts together a plan where there is no plan, where you can actually see your way coming up out, over, and beyond whatever it is that you're being challenged with. And I want him on my team. I can't win without him. So here's what it says on the real side. It says, we're entirely ready to have God remove all. That's the second emphasis, that it's an all or nothing situation. How many of us men have been in a situation where you said, and I know I've had it, you know what I used to say back when I was doing my thing? I said, I put it all on 7. You know, that's just it. You know, I had convinced myself that when you put up big, you're going to win big. And I still got that mentality. So what he says is, first of all, he tells you that this isn't for the faint and the weak-hearted. I mean, you've examined yourself, you're bringing everything to the table, and if you didn't get it the first time, now what he says is, check it out again. He hits you again with the how big this move is that you're about to make. And you need somebody just as big, somebody just as mighty, somebody just as powerful. You know, I ain't got time to explain to you. I need somebody that understands me, that already know. God knows. I ain't got to explain. He knows my heart. He knows my thoughts. So he says, to remove all. All is in connection with entirety. They're both pretty much similar. So he says all these defects and characters. And so there it is. I mean, there's nothing that we're hiding. There's nothing that we've excluded. There's nothing that we have made up in our minds that we're not going to make an improvement in a major type of way that was associated with our behavior and with our past. And what are we talking about all? Let's look at step number 4. Let's get a sense of what are we dealing with when we say entirely and all. My brother, you about to say something? Okay. Step number 4, which is on page 59, I just want to refer to what is the entirety aspect of it. What is the all aspect of it? Let's look at page 61. Let's look at page 61 and get an understanding. What is it in its entirety that we're bringing? What is it that's all encompassing that we're bringing to God in terms of him asking him to remove these defects and characters? And one of them is, I'll just hit you with it real quick. On page 71, he says, we have done a moral inventory. The next thing that we're talking about, we're entirely ready to have him removed. And having done that, survival skills. I'll tell you what, let's look at page 71. We can make this real quick. We need to get a vision or understanding and a connection with what are we talking about when we say entirely. What are we focused on when we say all? Let's look at page 71. Are we there, men? Let's look at the first thing, key ideas. When we say all and entirely, we're talking about we've done a moral inventory, having done steps 1 through 4 as well as 5. And what do we do there? We have listed our weaknesses, but we balanced it out because we also were honest in doing that, and we also listed our strengths. We taking it to God, all those things. And then we talked about, it referred to character defects, faults, as well as shortcomings. And you have to have done, and you certainly know what those are if you've done steps 1 through 4, as well as step 5, and now we're on step 6. And then it says, we've also established in terms of that moral inventory, a prayerful relationship and understand that we can do this thing. We can make these major changes with God's help, and we can actually benefit from it. All of that in its entirety, our strengths and our weakness, is what we're bringing up in terms of step number 6. Let's look at the next aspect, the key idea, survival skills. What do those consist of? Defense mechanisms that we used over the past where people couldn't get up under our skin or couldn't get next to us because we kept them at a distance. We didn't let nobody up close on us. And it says, what's up with survival skills? We developed them to protect ourselves from chaos and childhood homes. And that gives us a good system of understanding. When we say we're ready for him in terms of all our defects and characters, we're talking about even examining our childhood behaviors, our childhood relationships. Let's go a little bit further. And again, we come to this word called survival skills. I mean, as I said, we put up, it was, I want to say that we pretty much were self-centered. And so to survive in our early childhood, in our early childhood years, we developed these survival skills. And then lastly, he talked about these survival skills has also followed us into adult life and added to our struggles. And then here's another issue that we bring to him. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects, that denial mentality that we have. How many guys remember this? I ain't got a problem, you got a problem. I know exactly what I'm doing. And if you mind, we can go take it a little bit further than that. If you mind your business, like I'm minding mine, we wouldn't have no problem. You bringing a problem. I didn't ask for your 2 cents. Now, tell me that didn't come from childhood. Who asked for your 2 cents? You remember that, man. And so what we said, we in the denial. And then we get, how about this when we crank it up to the intimidation aspect of it? You know what I'm saying? All of that plays a role, and we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects and characters. We're no longer, beasting and just, uncaring individuals, and in denial that we need to be have a better attitude. Now let's go a little bit further, and then he talks about, again, check what it's connected with. Early childhood, we learn these things in early childhood, and then he talks about, again, in terms of denial. Protect ourselves by pretending nothing was wrong. And we know what was going on in some of our households. And then we go on a little bit further. It says, we ignore the real problems by replacing them with elaborate schemes. Forget all about that. Rationalization, blaming others, making excuses, generalization, dodging, and attacking other people. I call them schemes. We always had a hidden agenda and a motive. So let's move down to the next one. We say we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects and characters. The next issue is resentments. Man, we got a lot of things that we're dealing with in terms of the way that we respond to people in our interchanges with individuals, as well as our behavior. I say behavior. Behavior influences, beliefs influences behavior. When you believe that you got value, you believe other people got value. Things change. Let's go down to resentments. He talks about resentments being a major roadblock to recovery. It talks about the bitterness aspect and the anger aspect of resentments that we have. How many guys remember this one, man? I feel there's nothing you can say that's going to really change how I feel about this situation. You know what I'm saying? This is. You could talk forever. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to talk to you because we've got this resentment characteristic that's ingrained in us. Anybody understand what I'm talking about? And the best thing you can really do is give me some distance. Give me my 5 feet. You follow what I'm saying? We got to deal with those resentment aspects that leads to you know what? You can have such a resenting attitude that it'll trigger anger. Anybody understand what I'm saying? A person come up to you because you got this resentful attitude. They don't know, like, well, what happened to him? How did he just go off like that? You got resentment that stays with you 24/7 with certain situations, and it don't take nothing but a moment or a split second for it to trigger some anger. Anybody understand what I'm talking about? We got to deal with those types. We got to bring some balance to that. And I say this: beliefs. When you believe in yourself, you start to believe in other people. Because I tell you this, and I said that earlier, there's nothing you can do by yourself but fail. The money I made, the opportunities that I had, it was because I was connected with people. Are you following what I'm saying? You can't do nothing by yourself but fail. That's it. But if you get with the right connections and you learn how the value in human beings, you can make some major moves. Are you following what I'm saying? It's about connections. And we always hear that. Let's go down to resentments a little bit further. If not removed, resentments hinders our progress and growth. So that's where we're going. We're entirely ready. And here's this last one, fear. Man, you know what? And it says, we meet change with fear because we feel threatened by so many things. And how do we identify what those many things are? We have to actually do those steps 1 through 5. Step 1, as we said, was we admitted that we were powerless over the effects of our separation from God and that our lives have become unmanageable. There's some unmanageability. There's some stuff that has power over us that we want to have power over it. Step 2, we finally came to believe. Belief affects your behavior. Now power recognizes power. How many guys have heard that before? Power only respect what? Power. Anything less than it'll ignore you. It don't have any reason to respect you or to recognize you. And that's why we call them authority figures. And that's why some people have attitudes when we talk about this thing about fear. They say improper response to authority figures. How many guys know that how many guys can identify with this? You got an attitude with authority figures, period. You just don't see them in good light, is that they're beneficial or helpful to you. Are you following what I'm saying? Step 2 tells us this. Came to believe that I got something for you. We ain't got to go to the trunk no more. Are you following what I'm saying? Glove compartment, we got something for you. We have a new attitude, a new perspective. I'm bigger than that. So step 2 says, came to believe that a power. Before, when we was powerless, when you had me over the when you had me over the barrel, so to speak. Now step 2, I came to believe. I believe in me. I believe that I came to believe that a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity, to let me think my way through this situation. Step 3 is the first time we make a decision based on those first 2 steps, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God, because that's where my power comes from. Step 4, made a decision, made a searching and fearless moral inventory so I could really stick to the decision. How many guys have made decisions and turn your back? I say, man, I later for that, I'll deal with that later on. And switch up. You follow what I'm saying? We're going to make a decision and stick with it. Made a decision. I made a searching and fearless moral inventory. I'm checking me out. What do I have that's going to be beneficial to me in terms of the long term, in terms of life's, the plan I have, long-term plans for my life? Like my little brother over there, it bothers me the fact that he's gone. Because he's only thinking for the moment. Are you following what I'm saying? And the mind of faith tricks on you. It do look good for the moment. All my guys I told you on that Fed situation, it looked good for the moment. They're making $2,000 a day. Are you following what I'm saying? A day. But that's just for the moment. I tell you this, $200,000 a day, you can make $10,000. If you're doing 15 years, you can work at McDonald's and make more money than they can. They locked away for 15 years. You follow what I'm saying? We got to make a decision and stick to it. We got to make a decision to be the men of our households, to be contributors to our community, to be the providers in our circle of influences for our kids. You know, we got to make a decision to stick with it for the long term. And it bothers me, my little brother gone. But I take this thing seriously, man, real seriously, because I know what's on the other side. But anyway, came to believe that a power, made a searching and fearless moral inventory, and step 5 that we've just finished in terms of admitting to God, to ourselves, and another human being. We kind of got that. Now we at step number 6. Let's look at page 103. I felt though that it was necessary that we do a review to get an understanding, a better focus of what brought us up to this particular point. How many guys can identify that there something life-changing happened to you, and you just had to stop for a moment, or pause for a moment, and figure out what brought you up to this particular point? You know, what did I bring with me up to this particular point? How am I going to get out of this? Mama can't help me with this situation. I used to say my little sister can't help me with this situation. You know what I'm saying? The judge, he ain't trying to hear what I got to say about this particular situation. And it ain't going away. Anybody understand what I'm saying? So what we need to do is we need to get a grasp on what road did we travel to get up to this particular point? And we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So it says again, I'll hit you with it again. It says we were entirely ready. the question becomes, I can't be ready for you, you can't be ready for me. And one of my famous sayings I used to always say out there, it's too late to get ready when you're supposed to be ready. It ain't that, the bus is gone. The opportunity is gone. So the question you have to ask yourself today, and it's a question a real question, are you ready for the change? And I said my little dude was ready, but he just didn't give himself time. So here we go. It says, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And here's the power passage that gives us fuel to carry this out. The first part of it is a thought or the concept or the principle which we're going to live by. And this is what we want to do. But how do we get the power to carry it out? Again, understanding that power only recognizes power. Authority recognizes authority. Are you following what I'm saying? Judges recognize policemen. You follow what I'm saying? Judges recognize lawyers, and lawyers recognize, you know what I'm saying? Power recognize you. We're just, we're I don't want to say lambs being led to slaughter, but you're on the real side. We need power to do our thing like they doing theirs. Are you following what I'm saying? Let's get to this. I don't want to keep rambling. Here it is, the power passage. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Now here's what I want to say is, it's a major humbling experience when we actually turn our lives over to somebody else, because we've been on a major grind. Are you following what I'm saying? And we have never even considered about turning our lives over to somebody else to be in the driver's seat. We've been grinding, man, in a major type of way, and it's a humbling experience. But here's what he says: if you do this, God will lift you up, over, and beyond everything that we made a decision that we're going to turn our will and our lives over to the kid, and that we are entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Do you get the connection here? I'm bringing everything to him because I'm expecting him, and I believe that he's going to lift me up, over, and beyond, and to the point of where my destination is, or the goal that I want to achieve. And so let's move a little bit further. Understanding step number 6. My brother over there. Matter of fact, before I go any further, can you give me any insight? Jerry, what's my brother's name? Tap him over there. Bill, work with me over here. Bill, what do you think, what has actually convinced you that a relationship with God can lift you over, up and beyond whatever it is that you're challenged with? What had brought you to the realization that he's a deliverer out of situations that you find that are just overcoming? Or that he's a way of escape?
Because he's the Savior of the world. Because he is. Okay. Jesus is God in the flesh, and he can spiritually heal anybody that puts their faith in him. He was the one that came to deliver the Jews, and salvation came to the Jews first, and then to the Gentiles. The message of the gospel is a message of deliverance out of sin unto eternal life. He's the creator. He created everything in the universe, created me. I can be born again if I put my faith in him. And if once you put your faith in him, you're a new creation. You have a choice to follow the path of righteousness or follow your own path. And repentance means turning away from whatever it was you were looking towards before and putting your direction towards Jesus and your faith in Jesus. That's what repentance means.
You said so much, Bill. I want to thank you for putting handlebars on this topic that we're about to discuss. One of them is that I like what you just said, is that he's almighty over every situation. He's sovereign. He has authority, so we can trust him to deliver us from that particular situation. I really like that aspect of it. And as you said, he has a record. He has a history of being successful in terms of making a way out of no way, in terms of delivering. And he has your long-term interest. In other words, like, how many guys have heard this before? I'm old school, man. Don't laugh at me if I start doing my old school rapping, man. But you know how it says, it's on, it don't stop, don't stop. You know what I'm saying? What he does is he goes on and on and on and on in terms of creating a way out of no way. Are you following what I'm saying? He has a record. And here's what he says as well. In terms of the sin issue, no matter what you bring to the table, he's an expert at making something out of nothing. Where else can you go to get wherever? We talk about. I want to bring it to on the street level. We talk about. I want to think of the name of those cash advances. You know, you come there with a need and you walk away with the resources that you need to handle your business for a little bit longer. I mean, he's great at money exchange. That's what they call it. He's great in terms of the exchange, the life game exchange. Are you following what I'm saying? You bring to him, as we said, we're entirely ready, and we can check his history. Bill even said he did it for the Hebrews. He did it for Moses. I mean, he did it for Abraham. He promised them a seed where there was no. I mean, he just has a record of delivering. Are you following what I'm saying? So we go on a little bit further. Bill, thank you for that insight. Let's look at this. Understanding step number 6. And he talks about this when he says, he talks about a farmer plowing the field. And after he plows the field, there's a season where he just have to wait for the seed to grow.